Now, though, let's talk high-tech with Paul Brislen, twitter.com/Paul Brislen, joining us in Newmarket, Auckland City. G'day, Paul.
Kia ora. Super Groove, of course, are the greatest Kiwi rock band ever.
Did you used to go and see them live when they...
I did. I've seen them play live, and I've seen them play live when they're old, and they're just as good.
I think they're
crying shame.
They're playing in the cloud, I think, aren't they?
I think they are. They've got something else with the Rugby World Cup as well, and no, they're awesome live. They are absolutely the coolest band around.
All right, well that's where Paul Brislen's going to be, right up front at the clouds with with the Crush behind him,
moshing around. It'll be good.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk high tech though. First up, cell phone prices. Lord knows what this is costing me right now.
Oh. Listen, an arm and a leg, I would say.
Yeah.
Actually, we should come back to that because that's quite a good point. But the Commerce Commission has been studying the price of cell phone calls to and from cell phones, and most particularly calls between cell phone companies, to see whether or not they're still charging a lot more to call, say, Vodafone to Telecom or Telecom to 2 Degrees than they do to call on-net, as they call it, Vodafone to Vodafone, or Telecom to Telecom.
Okay.
And the good news is the prices are, in fact, coming down, and the difference in price, the really important thing, the differential between calling on-net and calling off-net is reducing. It's very small numbers at this stage. It's only been a few months, 1 quarter, 3 months. But it's very good to see that they're actually starting to turn the corner, because for a very long time, the cell phone companies have charged an awful lot less to call on their network than to call off their network, and that's a huge barrier to competition.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, what should we be targeted towards? I mean, what is a reasonable price?
Well, in the UK, there's no difference between on-net and off-net calling. And I can see, that's very good for them. That's very good for competition. It means that you don't have to think before you make that call. And anecdotal evidence is that even though 2 Degrees has come on into the market and is stirring things up and, introducing great price points, they still have a lot of businesses in particular who say, well, hang on, if we move all of our phones to 2 Degrees, then all of our clients on Vodafone and Telecom will stop calling because the prices are so expensive. So we don't want to incur that cost, and we don't want to make our friends and families incur that cost, and so we will just not switch. So this is a big concern for 2 Degrees. It's good to see the Commission monitoring, and it's good to see the players all responding and actually starting to do something with this.
Well, what is the average price of a landline to cell phone call at the moment?
Well, now that's the tricky thing. So not so long ago, the landline companies were given a huge boost because we had the termination rates. You remember this saga's been going on for years. Termination rates have been reduced, so the calls to a cell phone have the cost of making a call to a cell phone have been dropped hugely, from about 15 cents a minute down to 7 cents a minute, and soon to be 4 cents a minute.
That's wholesale.
That's at a wholesale level, yes. It would appear that they are not passing that saving on to the likes of your good self, who is calling me on my mobile. So, unfortunately, as we feared, some of the phone companies are taking the mickey and saying, well, that's all well and good. Thank goodness you've lowered those awful termination rates. Those cell phone companies have been rogering us silly for years. Oh, by the way, now it's our turn, and you poor old customers still don't get any benefit from this. So, I've seen prices 30 and 40 cents a minute to call a cell phone, whereas cell phone to cell phone, the prices are down a lot less. I think 2 Degrees does 20 cents a minute, 18 cents a minute, that kind of price.
Yeah.
They're going to have to really keep a close eye on this, because we didn't argue for a decade so that the fixed line phone companies could get a bigger margin. I actually wanted to see the money pass straight on to consumers, so that we get some benefit at our end, and then we'll all decide where we want to spend our money.
That's right.
That'd be nice for a change.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so the Commerce Commission will be looking at that as well?
They are. They're keeping an eye on all of that, and if there is no sign of pass-through, as it's called, if we poor customers at the bottom end of the food chain don't actually get some benefit from this, then I'll be writing a letter saying it's time to act on that score as well.
Yeah, sounds like I don't know if you heard that on the line then, but the cell phone companies obviously trying to intrude on our call.
No, you'll run out of cash shortly, and they'll just cut. Your phone will get cut off.
See, there was a chicken on the line. I don't know.
An electric chicken, that's all we need, isn't it, really? It is a Friday.
Let's talk about the Tai Tukarau network build from Auckland North.
That's right. So I was up up on the Hibiscus Coast. No, I'm telling lies. Up on the west coast of the North Island, not so very long ago, earlier this week, at the launch of this network build. And if you think about Northland, this is the place where families' houses burned down because they've been jury-rigging the electricity because nobody can afford to pay for power. It's a very poor part of the country. It's a beautiful, beautiful part of the country.
Yeah.
And for many years now, the phone companies have said, sorry, it's too expensive to run, say, your fibre optic cable up near you guys. There just aren't enough of you and you're too widely spread. So, no, we won't do it. So the locals have got together, and three of the local iwi and a company called Opto Networks have got together, and they are laying cable, along with FX Networks, laying cable from Auckland up to Whangarei, and that will in turn produce enough revenue that it will pay for the network to be extended all the way up to Kaitaia, well up north. I think the furthest north school is not far short of the very tip of New Zealand itself. So they go up one side of the coast and down the other side. Yeah. And for me, the really cool part is not that they're actually just laying the cable, but that the locals are involved. And the business model is that the company Opto that's going to run it will train up all of the locals, not just on how to dig ditches, but how to run a network and how to run a telco. And eventually, in sort of 4 or 5 years' time, they will get out of the scene altogether, and it'll be wholly operated and run by the locals.
I like the idea.
Upskilling and training and the whole lot.
I like the idea of UFB all the way up to the lighthouse at Cape Reinga, and then a Wi-Fi network right off the end.
Well, that's exactly right. And what they're doing is, as UFB does get rolled out, the ultra-fast broadband network, they're actually going ahead and ahead of the network build and talking to small townships and saying, well, look, we can run a quick fibre or a quick Wi-Fi connection around your local school or your local sort of the centre of your village, and we'll use digital microwave and connect it back to the UFB as it gets closer. So you're already ready when it arrives. Just plug in and get going, which is fantastic. This idea that we have to all come to Auckland to live and work. No, stay in the harbour, stay where it's gorgeous and the rent's cheap, and be able to work anyway.
Okay.
I think that's fantastic.
And before we go, I do want to talk about quickly another technology that Telecom released at a wee event yesterday called LTE, or Long-Term Evolution.
There, that's right. That's the 4th generation mobile phone network technology, and Telecom and Alcatel-Lucent were demoing the sorts of things you can do with LTE, which we're slated to see here in New Zealand in about 2015. So not too far away now. And it was really cool. The stuff that we're talking about is super fast. It's basically sort of fibre speeds, but on your cell phone. And when you do that, it's not about getting email faster and being able to send those tweet pics a little bit quicker. It's actually about changing what you do. And we had a look at some, augmented reality stuff, being able to pan around with a tablet and look at say the Auckland Museum, for example, and have an overlay of all of the history around it and really be able to engage and interact with it. And really, really cool app.
Video streaming. But what about, the speeds might be fast. There's some fast speeds right now on some of these networks. But what about
there
capacity? What if you had 100 people wanting to stream the same video on the same cell tower?
Exactly, and that is the key reason why you switch to LTE technology, because it's smarter at handling that kind of load.
Okay.
And that means that more people can use the same network than on 3G. So even if you're using the same spectrum, the increase in capacity is fantastic with LTE. So that means that not only will we see more people doing more, but those people who are doing just what you do today, you'll also see an increase in capability,
cool.
Which should be quite good.
All right.
Sooner rather than later, please.
Yeah.
Yes, it'll be good.
By the sounds. Thanks very much, Paul.
Thanks for that.
Leave you and your electronic chickens to do whatever you do there in Newmarket. Twitter.com/Paul Brislen. 24 minutes past.